What's up, everybody? It's your man, John, coming at you with another edition of the ACTION-FLIX podcast, courtesy of my website, ACTION-FLIX.com. And as you can see, I'm in a new location. That's right. A little bit different. Not as flashy as my office. I'm in my living room, so I put some things up behind me to kind of decorate because I really don't have anything up because as right behind me are stairs going down because I live up. So you got stairs going down. So I as you can see, I have some those that Japanese type scrolls that you get at the do-it-yourself place. So I have those hanging going down the stairs, but I really don't have anything behind me. So I thought, hey, let me put out some of my boys. You got a little Deadpool, you got John Wick, you got the Punisher, you got Snake Eyes, you got Storm Shadow, you got all the good ones right behind me. So just a little bit of different things. Just thought I'd be out in my living room, just kind of like chilling out here. You might have a guest. We might have a guest host. My cat Tug, he's wandering around, so you might see him come up behind me, checking things out. He's walking over there right now, just kind of wondering what I'm doing, as he always does. But so we are talking action movie breakdown. That is right. We are doing action movie breakdown. We are going to be talking about a movie that just came out yesterday. It is called The Workout. That's right. There it is right there. That is the official poster for it. Or you can see the more vertical one is right here. Yep, there you go right there. All right, so this movie kind of came out of nowhere for me. So I wasn't really aware of this movie until I got the email from the PR people reaching out to me. This comes from indie filmmaker James Cullen Bressack. James Cullen Bressack has been cutting his teeth in the industry for many years now. He's been doing horror movies, different types of things and stuff like that. But now he's been branching on to action cinema. So lately he's been working with some bangers. So he's worked with the likes of Steven Seagal. He did Steven Seagal's last movie that Seagal has been in. Seagal has he's now have filmed another movie called Order of the Dragon. But this was Beyond the Law, which was actually Seagal's last movie that he had put out before his hiatus, I guess. I don't, doing his Russian thing with Putin and stuff. I have no idea. But he's also worked with Bruce Willis before he unfortunately had to retire due to his health conditions. And he's also worked with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I actually interviewed him for Darkness of Man, which starred JCVD, which was a stripped down type, noirish kind of Van Damme thriller. But it also starred Kristanna Loken. We all know her. Terminator, yes. Blood Rain, genre actress, beautiful lady, was also pleasant to talk to. And I also I talked to a few other people too, but in the same fact, it was a great conversation. Guy's great. James is great to talk to, real fun to talk to, real laid back, tells it like it is, in terms of filmmaking and everything. So now he has directed a new movie called, there it is again, The Workout. So this is action movie breakdown. We are going to be talking about the movie. I've actually just put out my official written review about 15-20 minutes ago. You can see it now on actionflix.com, and I'll read you a little snippets from it during the action movie breakdown. So I haven't done an action movie breakdown in a long time. I think the last action movie breakdown I did was Captain America, the last Captain America, which unfortunately did not do that well. I enjoyed it. It was definitely nowhere near Endgame and all the, like right before the phase 1 and phase 2 movies and stuff like that. But Anthony Mackie, I thought he was solid in as Sam Wilson, and everything. Of course, they had Harrison Ford, who turned into the Red Hulk and everything. So, yeah, that was the last action movie breakdown I did. So I figured, hey, let's start cranking these out now. Let's start doing video reviews. I'm going to still be doing my written review, so I'm going to add this onto my written review. But I figured it'd be fun to talk to because listen. Make no mistake. Like I said, again, this is not a shot or anything. This is an independent production. It's a lower budgeted movie, but that is not a bad thing. And I stressed that in the interview that I just did with James. I had actually interviewed him for the movie. Here it is right here. This is up now at actionflix.com. My exclusive interview with filmmaker James Cullen Bressack for The Workout. So that's up now. So make sure you check that out too. I'm going to play little snippets of the interview too in here in a couple minutes. But so let's get things started. So like I said, this movie came out of nowhere pretty much. I got the email and I was like, oh, what's this? So I opened it up. Poster looked really cool. Like, again, I'm going to show it again right here. pretty like, listen, like you look at this picture, you're like, hey, you got commandos, you got machine guns, you know, chicks with guns, explosions, and you got this guy in the middle looking pretty badass and serious. So, you know, what's not to love? So I was like, okay, let me investigate this. So I was reading it. Then I found out that, yes, sir, James Cullen Bressack, there he is right there in the lower right-hand corner, directed the film. And I was like, hey, I love James's work. So I was like, I'm going to check this one out. Boy, was I pleasantly surprised. Again, listen, this is not like, but like, it's not going to be like this bombastic, extravagant, big budgeted, you know, action pick. You know, this is a lower budgeted independent film, but it is a solid, phenomenal little film that he has directed, and the cast is great, and there's some really good action sequences. But now here's the funny thing, okay? This is a found footage action movie, okay? So we all know the found footage trope that they've been using in movies since the Blair Witch Project premiered in the 90s. If y'all remember, if you're as old as I am, you remember when that movie came out, people actually thought that it was real. Like they were like, oh, like it was a snuff film or something. And like, they were like, and then the actors and the one actress that said that they actually had to go on talk shows and be like, hey, we were acting in a movie. So like that had never been seen before. Like, you know, where, you know, the found footage concept is like, you know, somebody finds footage of something that happened, and usually it's not a good thing that happened. And then, you know, we follow what happened story-wise through footage. So it's like, you know, stuff that was taped, recorded, whatever the case may be. Now, up until now, found footage has been primarily delegated to horror movies. I don't know why. And I said to myself, so let me do some investigating. So I'm scrolling and I'm going through IMDb and I'm going all that. I'm like, yeah, all these movies are horror movies. I've seen a few of them, not pretty solid. Like I said, I've seen the Blair Witch Project. I haven't seen it in years, but I thought it was pretty, again, a nice little indie movie that made a buttload of money when it came out because everybody jumped on the bandwagon. So I was like, there have been no action movies with the found footage. You had Chronicle, which you know, wasn't action. It was action, but it's more like a type of a superhero type movie, you know, seeing. So that like probably the closest that we've gotten to it. And look, y'all, put in the comments if you found one like way back then. Now it's got to be a full-blown action movie that was found footage. Let me know, because I couldn't find either. And James said the same thing. So, and I'm actually going to play a cool part of the interview where, you know, he gives me a compliment. So, you know, I got to play it. You know, it's like, but people give me compliments. I gotta say it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So here we go. So let's talk about the workout. Now this stars Peter J. and Josh Kelly. Now these guys play two ex-Army Rangers. Okay. Now this goes back to the trope of bad guys. Listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. I have many, many years of action movie cinema viewing in my lifetime. If you're going to kidnap somebody, or God forbid, if you're going to murder somebody, do your homework. Make sure that that person that you kidnap or kill mercilessly and brutally does not have a significant other or family member or just a best friend that is a retired former special operatives soldier, because it never works out well for you. It's like, so do your homework. Be like, okay, for whatever reason, you're a bad person. I get it. I don't think like that. But if you're going to kidnap somebody, you're going to murder somebody, make sure that they don't have ties to somebody that is either a current or former operative in the special forces. Because listen, they're just going to come back and kick you in the ass. So like, okay, so with that said, here we go. The workout. All right. So what is the workout about? I'm going to read you a little bit about what I wrote here on ActionFlix.com. So again, it stars Peter J., who actually was in Darkness of Man. And again, I didn't remember that, but then I was talking to James. He's like, yeah, I was like, that's right. He was in it. Cause I'm like, where have I seen this guy before? And it's actually cool because Josh Kelly, who plays his brother-in-law, Levi, who's also a former Army Ranger who served with him in the military, is an actual former military operative. So that was pretty cool. So I found that out. So that was kind of neat. All right, so here we go. So here's the plot. So the workout stars Peter J. of Call Me King and Black Cat is White and Joshua Kelly of General Hospital. and NCIS Origins fame, as Levi, who play former Army Rangers who dust off their lethal skills when the former's pregnant wife is brutally murdered during the taping of an exercise video. Yo, okay, so not only do they murder his wife, but she's pregnant. That's a double no. So one, you killed this guy's woman for no reason whatsoever. Well, yeah, again, she's collateral damage if you want to think of it that way. So during the assault, Wyatt is seriously injured, and the results have left him with traumatic brain injury, which will ultimately make him lose his memory and cognitive skills, and eventually his life. So this guy's in bad shape. Before he succumbs to his injuries, though, Wyatt makes it his personal mission to take down those responsible and document it for his newly born daughter, who survived through emergency C-section. Together with Levi, they execute a kill mission on organized crime, piling up the bodies in their wake, unleashing their fists, feet, and a hellfire of bullets. All right, so that's the plot. Okay, so here we go. So again, here's Peter J. Okay, and this young lady who plays his wife, Becca. Her name is Galadriel Steinman. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I did not. But anyway, this is the beginning of the movie. This is the happiest part of the movie right here. That's like 2 minutes. Because after that, thugs break in, shit happens, she gets shot, she dies, he gets hit, he's in bad shape. Levi's like, what do I do? He's like, visiting him in the hospital, because he's in a coma and stuff like that. The rest of the movie, it's like, it's heavy. It's got action, but it's also got some real heartfelt human emotion and drama. And like I said, it's not pretty because it's the rest of the movie. I mean, there's some quips and stuff like, like they take jabs at each other and stuff like that. But really, it's a really heavy movie. There's no levity after that point. So basically what these two guys do. So after Wyatt wakes up from his injuries and he finds out that his wife, yes, did not survive the ordeal, but his baby daughter did. He decides that, I only got a little bit of time left because they tell him that, he traumatic brain disorder, which is a very serious thing. So like, he's going to start to lose all of who he is. He's going to lose his memory, who he was, who he is. He's going to lose, like I said, all his cognitive skills. Like he's going to learn how to walk, how to talk, stuff like that. And basically he's going to succumb to his injuries and unfortunately pass away. So before he does that, he decides to document to his now baby girl. So when she grows up in the future, it's all laid out. And actually, it's kind of cool. And I'll talk about this towards the end. So he documents for his daughter what happened. So what happened to her mom, what happened to him, and why this all happened. And that he was not, because she's going to hear things growing up, like her daddy killed people, but he wants to prove that he wasn't a bad man and he did it for a reason, but also that actions have consequences. So it's a really cool concept, and Bressack uses the found footage concept, but he does it in a good way. He does it like, again, I've seen a lot of found footage stuff, and again, most of it's been horror. And I'm not gonna lie, like I love, if y'all know The Rookie, the TV show on ABC that stars Nathan Fillion, love that show. I love cop shows in general, but I love that show. I've been with it since the very beginning, and I'm so glad that it's still on because every year it gets better. But occasionally they do the found footage episodes. You know what I'm saying? Because like they have the cameras on their vests and on the car's dashboard, and like but every time they do that, I'm like, oh, it's one of those. I kind of get like, can we just do it normal? But it's not that bad, I guess. But this is a found footage movie that Bressack does it in such a way where it's not tedious, and because people will be like, oh, you're not going to be able to see stuff. Is it jittery? Is it blah, blah? Because some of this found footage stuff can be really like out of whack, off the rails. You can't really tell what's going on. I'm not going to lie. Some of the stuff that they've done in the past, like if they didn't do it well, boy, tough watch. But this is not one of them, I'm going to tell you. So again, my opinion, I'm just laying it out there. So they go on this kill mission to take down all of these individuals that were responsible. And it turns out that pretty much it's the mob, the organized crime. And the reason why they broke into, so at the beginning, Wyatt and Becca, his wife, are recording an exercise video. They have this thing where they have sponsors, and they're one of the, I guess they're like YouTube influencers, like I'm trying to be. So yeah, so because he's got a, he's got a sponsorship and stuff like that. So it's Levi's the camera guy, and they're filming a workout video, and it's actually probably like a workout video for pregnant women because his wife's pregnant. So in the midst of them doing this, these thugs break in and they're demanding stuff, and like we was like, what's going on? Like, why are you here? And then all of a sudden they pull out the guns, and then of course Wyatt, his training kicks in, and he fights one of them, and unfortunately the gun goes off, and his wife gets hit, and she dies as a result of her injuries. But the baby is safe. So when he wakes up from his coma, and of course there's an adjustment period because he just found out his wife's dead, and he's got this issue that's ultimately going to put him 6 feet under. He decides that, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out my way, and I'm going to go out with a mother effing bang. And like I said, he documents this all through a video and like surveillance and all that stuff. So everything from that, everything from this point, everything that's shot in the movie is done from a camera. So it opens with them filming, obviously, a workout video, and then Wyatt is in a coma. So Levi is doing like one of those crowdfunding things, like for tragedies and stuff like that. So like a GoFundMe page. So like he's documenting it with his phone and the computers and stuff like that. So it's done in such a way. And then of course there's surveillance, and then they hook up with this guy named Glitch, who is played by James Cullen Bressack. His face is digitized out, but it's played by the director himself, who's kind of like their go-to computer guy, and he's putting it all together, and he's the one that's going to edit all this and have it ready for his daughter when she's of age and she can watch it. So what transpires next is they get they go through and they get their other comrade who's called Tank. Her name is who is played by Ashley Evans Smith. And she's the one front and center right there. And she is badass, let me tell you. And I found out that she is a legit, true MMA fighter. So she's in the world of MMA. And boy, can you tell, because when she does her fight scenes, this chick's got skills, man. I mean that in the best way possible. You got skills, my lady. And boy, you are legit, let me tell you. So she joins their crusade, and the three of them go out and start to bash up on organized crime. And there's a bunch of action sequences. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to tell you about this. What I enjoyed about the movie is you think like this movie, because of course you got guns and stuff like that, and they're ex-operatives. There is shooting. There are firefighters, but a lot of this is beatdowns. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of CQB action, close quarters battle, where they go in and they use their fists and feet and MMA moves. And Ashley has a sequence where she beats down on a guy in their apartment complex, which is a solid action scene. So yeah, so there's a lot of good action sequences, and again, Bressack shoots it well. And again, negative wise, look, like I said, when you hear indie, don't think negative. But again, it's CGI muzzle fire. Some of the supporting acting is suspect, but it's not like you're watching this movie like, oh my God, like, because you're going to hear people review this movie. And I hate this more than anything. People just bomb movies like, this movie sucks. Oh my God, it's so awful. The production value, blah, blah, blah. Listen, if anybody complains about this movie, have them come onto your show and defend why they think this movie sucks, because it doesn't. It is a legit independent action movie with a tried and true trope of the found footage, but has essentially been for horror movies. So now Bressack was like, yeah, I've never seen this done before action-wise. So he was looking for something to do. And he was like, I've never seen this before. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit of our interview. Sorry, I'm just getting things ready here. And here's me talking to James. All right, you guys ready? So this is me talking to James, and this is where he points out, yeah, there hasn't been a found footage action movie before. So here we are. Here's my exclusive interview with James Cullen Bressack that just came out yesterday. I watched it last night, and I watched it today. So I've seen it twice. So I wanted to make sure it was fresh in my mind. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, let's start with this. Okay, so because I did my research last night. I'm like going back and forth, and I'm like scrolling, and they're like, all the found footage films have been like horror movies and like that
Yeah,
type,
I've
right?
never seen a found footage action movie, which is what made me want to do this.
I was going to
But
ask you. That's the reason, right? Yeah.
interestingly, you're the first person who's pointed that out.
Thank
As
you.
weird as
I did.
as weird as
That
it
was me.
sounds, and I'm not trying to
Thank you.
like sound like I'm complaining, but I've had a couple reviews saying like, well, we've seen so many found footage action movies.
You know
before,
who you
but they
are.
don't list any of them.
Yeah,
and I'm
you
like,
didn't do your
which
research.
ones? I'm like, I think this is the first one.
Listen, I did listen. I went through. I was like going through everything. I was like, nope, 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 nope. There was one called I forget. It started with a C. That
was
kind of like
Chronicle. I
was
couldn't
had
think
a little bit of action in it. What I can't remember what it was called.
Cloverfield?
No, not Cloverfield. That was like the Godzilla type.
I like
Yeah, that
Cloverfield.
one. And then they had Project X, which was a comedy.
Yeah. Oh well. Shoot. I can't remember what it was.
I hate when I
called.
can't
It
think of
started
things
with
at
a
the
C,
time. I
though.
really do.
But anyways, regardless of that, yeah. So like this is like that's so.
Okay, so there is my part of my exclusive interview with Mr. Bressack. So again, great guy. Like I said, always a pleasure to talk to. And like I said, he's like, "You're the first one." I'm like, "Hey, I did something." So, and then it's like, you know who you are out there. There haven't been a lot of found footage action movies. Nope, nope, not action, horror, not action. Nope. Not at all. All right. So let's continue. All right. So basically, I've pretty much said my piece. Stupendous cast. Like I said, Peter J is great. He really embodies a person who's had gone through a lot of trauma, a lot of tragedy. You know, his wife has been murdered. He's got this brain injury. He's got a daughter that he's not going to pretty much see grow up. And then I'm not going to spoil things because it just came out yesterday, but there is betrayal involved. There's a twist to the plot that resonates at the end, which I kind of saw coming. I did kind of see coming. I was hoping that it wasn't going to happen, but I was like, yep, they're going there. But anyways, it's still a good movie. And like I said, good acting from the top cast. I mean, like I said, if you're going to say anything about some suspect acting from some of the people that are in the movie, that's, you always get that. But it's not like it's the most horrendous. It's not like a trauma movie. Because you ever watch any of those movies? Oh my God! Either they're trying to do it on purpose, but that is some of the most horrific acting ever. And if you guys notice, I got my Punisher gear on, so I got my Punisher sweatshirt on and my Punisher cap, and I'm also drinking my Pepsi out of my Punisher cup. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. It's 70 degrees today in Panama City Beach, so it's a little chilly. So I can't lie. I love being down here during this time because it's like I'm looking outside. Yeah, it's 70 degrees, but it's like, you know what? I'm wearing flip-flops still, so it's all good. But I love this because when it gets cooler, it's like I'm able to wear my sweatshirts and my sweatpants and stuff like that when it gets cooler at night. So that's pretty good. All right. So basically, I gave this movie a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, this is a good movie in the sense that it does what it's supposed to do. It does exactly what you think it's going to do. You watch the trailer, that's what you get. But again, the trailer doesn't show all of it. There's a lot of good stuff. Like I said, you got the emotional drama. Like here he is after Wyatt just woke up and he's seeing his baby. And there's one scene actually that's kind of sad. He doesn't recognize that it's his own daughter. He thinks it's just some kid that Levi's videotaping for the GoFundMe page. So he gets all mad at him. And Levi's like, "That's your daughter," so it's really heartbreaking if you think about it. But then, of course, they start to go on their little vendetta and shit hits the fan, bullets fly, fists and feet hit, and all kinds of good stuff. So there you go. There's my 3.5 out of 5-star review for The Workout. Now available on digital and video on demand. I already checked. It's on Fandango at home. You can check it out probably on Amazon, Apple, wherever you get your streaming movies and television shows from. You can't say enough. Like when it's done well. Okay, so when it's done well, it's great. Now, again, if it's not, then you waste an hour and a half of your time. I'm telling you right now, I don't think you're going to feel like you wasted your time with this movie because it's a solid, put together little action movie. And like I said, the concept of found footage has been remotely established for horror movies, but now we get it for the action. So maybe we'll start getting some of these later on. James kind of mentioned that, you might look into that, or and doing something like that in the future in terms of action movies and stuff like that. But don't forget to look out for my full written review on The Workout. Let me pull it up here for you real quick. I'll just read you a little snippets of the actual review itself. Let me get it going here. Hang on 1 second. There we go. All right. So the the title for the review was The Workout. Found footage films get a massive shot of bruising adrenaline in the unforgiving new vengeance-laced action thriller. Yep. So I kind of stressed on what I've already talked about. So again, great cast. The top three are solid. There's some of the bad guys that are kind of like, it's like, okay. I thought that the guy at the end, the actual the guy that did the shooting at the beginning, he was a little over the top, but he was playing his role. But right now, I'm going to show you the trailer for the movie, and I know I can play it because I was able to get my my own copy of it. I got it from, you never know if you're going to get dinged for copyright infringement. So this should be good because, you just never know. It's like, so here's some footage. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is what you get to look out for.
Hey guys and gals, welcome to the brand new Body by Rangers Weekly Fit Challenge, where you get your butts kicked into shape by
This
Army
is the
Rangers.
beginning. This is the only
Hey
fun
fellas,
part.
we're closed. What is
this?
This man literally lost his wife.
Two pissed off Army Rangers. Wouldn't want to be on your bad side.
Wait, what's that for? Hunting. If you really want to spend the rest of your life on some suicide revenge mission.
Becca, my sweet girl, if you're watching this, just know it's about to get violent.
No, I'm not fucking going in there now!
I'm documenting everything. You're all going down. Now, they tell us where to find Tony, we'll go down with them. We need your help.
This isn't some bar with a bunch of drunk dudes. This is the fucking mafia!
This is gonna be fun.
It's gonna be one hell of a ride.
You're dead.
Your brain condition has gotten much worse since your last scans. You can't overexert yourself. Any activities that raises your blood pressure is just gonna make this whole thing worse.
I'm not going out like this.
Well, look what we have here.
All right, so there you go. So that's the official trailer for the workout. So as you can see, some pretty decent looking action. And like I said, it does not disappoint. At least it didn't for me. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. It made me feel a little something at the same time. Like I said, I mentioned that in my interview with James. I was like, how dare you make me feel something? Because, it is devastating to a point because of what happens to this guy. He's got everything to look for. He's got a pregnant wife and everything, and it just goes all to hell in a handbasket. And then he spends the rest of his existence, seeking vengeance. But well done. A lot of good lines. Like I said, I love no pain, no gain. I love the tagline to the movie and everything. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, if you've seen everything, you've seen the big budget ones this weekend and everything, check out The Workout. Like I said, 3.5 out of 5 stars, a legit indie action movie that has some spectacular fights, a lot of cool beatdowns. And as you can see, there's also some pretty gnarly kills in it too. Some couple throat slits that are pretty good. A lot of stabbing, knife work, which I'm always a fan of. I always love knife fights and stuff like that. So you get a lot of good kills at the same time, and it's just a good time. Like I said, I had fun with it. If you do, then that's good. I did my job. If not, then I'm sorry. Then it wasn't for you. But like I said, it should be. Like if you like these types of movies. And again, can I just say one thing? If you see this movie up on Fandango at home or Amazon, it's like, and you see, obviously it's an independent action movie. If you're not a fan of independent action movie, if you have not had good experience with independent action movies, which I don't know how you could not, because there's a lot of good ones out there, then watch it and just shit on it because it's like, I'm not gonna like it. Okay, but if you gravitate towards these types of films like I do, a lot of action fans do, because I'm not gonna lie, independent action cinema is actually crushing it a lot better than the big budget blockbusters are, big budget movies are. A lot of good stuff coming out with indie action filmmakers, and James Cullen Bressack is just another one that you should put on your list and should look out for in the future. He's done a lot of good movies in the past, like Darkness and Man, like I said, with JCVT, Beyond the Law with Steven Seagal. And actually, I think that was DMX's last movie before he passed away too. So I forgot to ask him about that, but I believe DMX is in it, and was his last movie before he unfortunately died a few years back. And then of course Mel Gibson, which I believe he did Hot Seat, which is the movie he starred with Mel Gibson. And he has a kind of funny anecdote to working with Mel Gibson in our interview. And again, so that's up now on actionflix.com, my exclusive interview with filmmaker James Cullen Bressack for The Workout. So that's about it. That's what I got for this episode. Check it out if you're, like I said, a fan of these types of movies. If you like found footage horror movies, try out the found footage action movie then. And don't forget, again, to smash that like and subscribe button. Make sure that you're able to, like I said, comment anytime you want to see something, anytime you want to, me to review something or talk about something. Make sure that you hit down below in the comment section. Let me know about it. Or, hey, you could go to my website, ACTION-FLIX.com, and let me know what you want to see. But make sure you like and subscribe, and tell your friends to like and subscribe. And I just wanted to say one other thing. My little girl, Bailey, has started her own YouTube channel. It's called The Animal Fanatic. Now, if you go to YouTube and you see The Animal Fanatic, it's got a big picture of Stitch. That's my daughter's YouTube channel. She is big into YouTube and influencing and stuff like that. She wants to be a YouTube influencer. So she sees Daddy doing this and, Daddy working. Daddy's not nearly as successful these people are. I'm a little fish in a big pond, but I try. But she wanted to do it, and she has her own videos up there. And listen, she's 10 years old, all right? So cut her some slack. I help her put them together. She videotapes it all herself. She does it all herself. I just put the graphics in and the music and stuff like that. But make sure you check out her YouTube channel, The Animal Fanatic. She does unboxings, like, she buys stuff, and like, her big thing right now is the mini stuff, like the mini fridge, mini food and stuff like that. She unboxes that. Axolotls, I think, is the craze now. So she does that. She does arts and crafts, all kinds of good stuff. So make her smile. Hit that subscribe button. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. She had 2 subscribers up until now. I was one of them, okay? She had another subscriber where then she texted me, like she was with her mom last week, and she texted me. She's like, Daddy. She's like, I'm like, yeah. She's like, I got another. She was so freaking excited that she got another subscriber. You would have thought that was number 10,000 or something. But, there's my cat Tug. Hey, everybody say hi to Tug. There he is. I knew you'd make an appearance. Oh, he's gonna lay down on the blanket behind me. I told you you'd make an appearance. That's my homeboy. All right, but anyway, you thought that she had 10,000 subscribers. She was so excited. So give her some love. And again, like I said, if you got girls her age that like that type of thing, subscribe to it so they can watch it and everything. But just show her some love, because she's really trying and she's really putting her heart into it. And she's awesome with the arts and crafts. She draws, she makes things. She makes her own Barbie house. That's her bedroom actually back there. And it's phenomenal. Like, she didn't want me to buy her one. She's like, I'm going to make my own, Daddy. I'm like, okay. And then boop, she made her own Barbie dream house. I was like, damn, girl, you go. But yeah, it's called The Animal Fanatic. So like and subscribe that. And don't forget, like I said, to like and subscribe moi, because we are the ultimate destination for your action fix. The Workout is now available on video on demand as well as digital, starring Peter J. and Josh Kelly and Ashley Lee. What's her name again? Sorry, I don't want to get it wrong. Hold on one second. Ashley Evans Smith. That's right. Ashley Evans Smith. She is definitely on my radar now. So make sure you check that out, and make sure to give it a good review if you like it. So support it. And here's the thing. Support independent action cinema. That's how these guys and gals pay their rent, their mortgage, their food, their support their families, and if you do it the wrong way, if you pirate it and watch it that way, you're going to get solid entertainment like this if you don't support it the right way. I got a screener for it. of course, because I interviewed James for it, and of course I was going to do my review, but I purchased it. It's up on Fandango at home. All right, so there you are. So actionflix.com. Boom, there we are. The ultimate destination for your action fix. That is my website, action-flix.com. And that's all I got for today, everybody. So remember, be nice until it's time to not be nice. Take it easy, everybody.